What's going on, YouTube world and YouTube tribe? Welcome to LilBigMan Gaming, bringing you a review for The Flash, Episode 5, Season 7, called Fear Me. Before we get into the doors, I could get everybody to hit that like, subscribe, share, and hit that notification button so you get notified when I drop new videos. Because I got this video and plus 2 more videos coming out today. For those who are not subscribed, what are you waiting for? Become part of the tribe, right? I always say that. Become part of the tribe. What are you waiting for? Smash that subscribe button. Let's keep this groovy train rolling. Also, those who are subscribed, thank you, love you, appreciate you. Just allowing me to entertain you, to bring you joy in these growing times. So yes. Thank you. Just I need you to do one thing and just continue to watch, and share my videos so we could get me out there and it can help the YouTube algorithm. You know, the subscribes, the likes, the watching, all that helps get me out there more to more people. So with that being said, let's get into it. You know how I like to do. The tribal chief likes to give you a synopsis. So, like I said, the episode title is called Fear Me. When a powerful new villain channels and amplifies everyone's fears in order to wreak havoc on Central City, Barry realizes that he must face his own worst fear in order to beat this new threat. So, as this is about fear, right? So, this new villain of the week, so is supposedly, basically, he has the power to induce fear. We all seen in the little trailers. He's been inducing fear into the citizens of Central City. Cecile plays a big part in this episode this week, just like how she did with Top. She plays a big role in this week. She's actually one of the key characters to help defeat this guy who induced the fear, and they call him Psych. So basically, we're still reeling from the last episode where Abracadabra was killed by I forgot how Cisco put it. I think it's Farona or something like that. He said it was Spanish for strength. She basically, they still trying to figure out how to track her, right? And then, but it was revealed at the top of this episode, Barry actually figured it out. He figured out that she has some isotonic properties and signatures. Basically, I'm not gonna get into the mumbo jumbo because you know I ain't about to say it like I'm a scientist, but it was basically signatures consisting of the Speed Force. They had similar properties and signatures of that of the Speed Force. And they figure out how to track it, basically. And Barry retasked the satellites to tracking it, and they'll know when they'll have a hit. So they immediately, as they was talking about this, they immediately get a hit on the satellites. And before I get to that, I forgot. Before I get to that, they also dealing with the little side story of the fact that now we got Caitlyn and Killer Frost. They had separated somehow. Something about, I guess, that when the Mirror Maestro, when she shot them, Mirror Maestro, aka Eva McCulloch, when she shot Frost, it caused them to experience some type of headache. But the headache was gone. But the problem is, the reason why it was gone because they had split into two. So now this week episode also deals with the fact that they split into two. What else happened? Oh yeah, then that's when we get into the satellites. While they still trying to figure out what to do with that, that's when they get hit with the satellites and the notification of the signature, the Speed Force signature, and they said that Farona. Excuse me, guys. I'm trying to remember how he pronounced it. Farona, Fura, whatever. They track her. They think she's coming. Cisco. They asked Cisco where is she, and they said here, like she's on her way here right now. So they get prepared to fight. They turn around, get prepared to fight, think she about to come busting through the window, and all of a sudden, instead of Fira, I'm gonna call her Fira, instead of her busting through the window like a big old hawk, he even made Cisco even made reference to that. He was like, "Hey, She-Hulk was taken." She instead of that happening, it's a lightning storm. A lightning storm that looks similar to when Barry had to go into the Speed Force. I think that was what season. That was season 3. I want to say, was that season 3 going into season 4 with the Thinker? Yeah, I think that was. That little the Force storm. I think that was called the Speed Force storm. That was engulfing Central City. We get a miniature version of that inside of Star Labs, and when they see it, they like, wait a minute, this is not her. What's going on? They was like, I don't know. It's some type of Speed Force like storm again. And when they look up to see where it's coming from, they see that they see a person just floating there. They're engulfed in electricity, and shooting from underneath that person is the electrical storm that they seeing. It's like it's got different colors. It got blue, it got blue, red, the regular gold for Barry. It's like it's on all the colors, different species like colors, and we see that it's a person, and it's like she or he is engulfed in this electrical storm, and Barry raced to go catch the person, and indeed it turns out to be a familiar person, though I won't get into it here because that is a big part of the episode, so I won't spoil it for those who wants to know who this person is. But this person is a big clue, a very big clue into what's going on this season with these new foes, with Freya and Psyche. This person is a big clue to it. So they freak because we all know who this person is. They don't know why this person is here. How is it possible? This person's like, yeah, this person is like in a comatose state. I was about to say something else. This person is in a comatose state now. And Barry realizes that this person has similar properties to that of the Speed Force. He races to go get his Speed Force watch to put it on this person to gauge their recovery. And for me, I might have missed it, but I thought anything or any person that has similar things to the Speed Force was dead because the Speed Force was dead. So this even brings up more questions. Is the Speed Force back again thanks to Barry making the artificial Speed Force? Like, was how is what's going on with this? So Barry is now got to deal with that, and then they get another attack. They get another reading like that's similar to the Speed Force. This time Barry races to some security guards, and they're sitting there, they're freaking out, right? And I forgot. Oh, before that, I forgot to mention too, Cecile got attacked by this nightmare, and her nightmare was a nightmare. She had like a vision, like a nightmare vision of herself losing control and going crazy and becoming like Top. And I guess it was her fear. The nightmare was actually her fear of what she would become, because she realized that Top basically put this in her that I was just like you. I was an empath, and now I went from being an empath to being able to induce vertical. So she's basically now her fear is this, and this is what we are shown in the scene before. Because this sets up the other scenes. This scene in particular sets up before, because she's the first person in Team Flash to encounter this new villain. and she indirect, because of her powers of being an empath. That's how she ended up having this thing, this induced fear, because the villain didn't attack her directly. He was actually attacking some other people, but because of her empath was like picking her empathic ability was picking up on people that was being attacked by this guy. She was in turn basically experiencing the attack herself, and she was accidentally thrust into her own nightmare, which is she was being taunted and taunted and prodded by her own fear version of herself that has went evil and went crazy, and basically taunting her that she can't escape, that she's going to become her. That's where we get that scene from the trailer when Joe's like, Joe basically comes and he's like, "Whoa, what's going on? You was in here screaming." And she's like, but she's like, it was something in here was attacking me, and the glass. And she's trying to tell him about the glass being, because in her, when she started screaming, trying to get away from it, glass started breaking, everything was shaking and breaking, and she had blood on her hands. And when Joe woke her up from it, that we see that none of that actually happened. It was nothing. No glass broke. Was no blood on it or anything. And that's when we get Joe's like, from like we saw in the little promo trailer, the nightmares can't hurt you. And because he basically was trying to comfort her, tell her that nothing happened. There's no glass broke, no nothing. And that's what he says. So like from the promo, nightmares can't hurt you. And then we get to set up. Then that's what leads it to us going with Barry getting the first call about Sight, who attacked security guards, who made them see like a big Dominator. I think that was a Dominator. Yeah, they saw. I'm gonna go with that. They saw like a gigantic Dominator, and you could tell they was under the spell, because when Sight gets into your head, your eyes glow like a purplish red, and it was making them see this gigantic Dominator. They was telling the Flash, "Oh, thank God you're here. It's about to destroy us in Central City." They got their guns drawn. They about to shoot it. And Flash like, "What?" He turns around and there's nothing there. There's no gigantic Dominator, no nothing. And then when he turned back to them, you see the gigantic Dominator, behind him. But it's only because we're seeing it through their eyes. And when we see it through Barry's eyes, he just standing in the middle of the street looking at nothing. But when he's standing, when we see it through their eyes, they're standing there looking at Barry and this gigantic Dominator getting ready to swipe at them, and then they take off in fear. And that's when Psych makes his presence known. Barry like, "Oh, I get it now. Did you make these people see some type of gigantic kaiju monster, or something like that?" And he said, "You're not totally wrong. Yes, I made them see that, but not before making them see it. It eating a whole bunch of people before coming to them." He said, and he tells them the real fear is knowing that you want to be next, knowing that it's getting everybody, and that it's eventually going to come for you too. So basically, he was saying what the officers was fearing was that that they seen this thing eat people, and now it was coming after them, but it really wasn't there. It really wasn't even eating people. The people that they saw getting eaten wasn't even real. We learned that throughout the episode, that when you see these things, there, and to everybody else who's not in the trance or not with you in wherever world you've been projected to in your fear, you're just standing there just talking and just in fear. But for you, you're seeing what you're seeing, but to everybody else, there's nothing there. So Barry tries to fight him, but he hits Barry. No, Barry actually puts the meta cups on him. He there's a little back and forth banter about how Barry didn't want to deal with him, and the villain was like, and the villain Psych was like, that's kind of rude. And for a hero like you don't want to. You're just trying to brush me aside, telling me you got better things to do. What could be better than stopping me from hurting people? And he's like, "Look, I'm sorry for being rude, but I really do got better things to worry about than you." Not knowing that this person, Psych, is connected to Fira and what's going on in the bigger city. So they go out, and so Sight proves that that the metahuman dampening cups wasn't enough for him, and he ended up overriding it and giving Barry a dose of his fear. Now Barry is one of the few people. I think only Barry and Cecile goes through the nightmare sequence twice in this episode. Because they even mentioned in the episode how the people who go through it more have a lasting, lingering effect than most people. Like the people for their first time, they get through it. Once they come out of it, they come out of it. And the lingering effect pretty goes away pretty quickly. But for Cecile and Barry, since they went through it multiple times, I think it only was stated that I think it was only twice for both Cecile and Barry, but it was stated that because they both went through it twice, they since they both went through it twice, the effects of it takes longer for them to come down from. But yeah, they Barry gets his within his first go around with the fear nightmare vision he was in. He was in the speed lab being taunted and by Reverse Flash. And he said, "No, I no longer fear you. You can't stop me. You're not real. You can't hurt me." He said, "We'll see about that." And he starts to beat on Barry, and then Barry is hit with another emergence of an old foe, Savitar. Savitar stabs Barry in the chest and tells Barry. I forgot. I think he tells Barry too about him not being able to run away from becoming Savitar. That he's still going to become Savitar. They even bring back the dude who did the Savitar voice. So then we realize that we see Barry fall on the ground in real life, but we see that the wound he suffered from Savitar is really there on his chest. So when we come back, we feel Caitlyn reveals that not only are you're in this nightmare, but it's just like Freddy Krueger. It tricks your mind to believing that what's happening to you is real, to the point where your body imitates what you see because it thinks it's real. So the reason why Barry's chest was cut just like or stabbed through just like it was from Savitar was because Savitar the fear induced nightmare made him believe this special properties of it, I guess, can make you believe that you're really there and it's really happening. So it made Barry believe that he was really there. So to the point where his body attacked itself and made the wound appear just because it thought it really did get attacked. They reverse engineered the little metahuman dampening metahuman mind dampeners they use for Grodd to recalibrate it for Sight, so that he can't get in their minds. While also dealing with the fact that I didn't forget about Frost. They reprogrammed Ronnie's fire matrix and stuff, the firestorm matrix thing to repurpose it to recombine Frost and Caitlyn together. Let's see, where else can I go from here? Barry and they try to come up with a plan. They go back to fight him again when he reappears, but this time it's not only just Barry, but it's Mecha, or I think they call him Mecha Vibe now, because the Abracadabra says in the future he's known as Mecha Vibe, or something like that fact. Basically he's Vibe, but he's Vibe only due to technology now. Killer Frost. And they all wearing the headgear, but he managed to override it and send him into a nightmare sequence. We see that Frost's nightmare sequence was that she got turned into the police, and Joe West telling her that she's being under arrest for all the crimes she committed at Killer Frost. And when he asked who turned her in, she was told that it was Caitlyn who turned her in. We didn't get to see we didn't get to see Cisco's, but Cisco was like, we did hear him say, no, this can't be how it all ends. And but when he's asked about it later on, which I will get to in a minute, but when he's asked about it, he kind of like lies about it. And then Barry's second dose is that this time he's told by the nightmare. He said, you can't, just because you think what, you go show me Thawne and Saboteur again, those are not my greatest fear. He was like, oh no, he's like, oh no, those villains are not your greatest fear, this is. And he hits Barry with another one. This time we show him what his greatest fear was, that everyone he loved and care about are basically dead. You know, they died, I think, because fear killed him, and he couldn't protect everybody. So his greatest fear, that everybody that he loves and cares about is dead because he couldn't protect them. And you know, it leaves them all shook, and he's disappeared. And that's what we found out from Caitlyn, that the reason he was able to override the not only the metahuman cuts, but the mind dampeners, to give them still a dose of fear, and that his ability also caused him to reduce panic attacks. She knows that that's what she figured out, that's what this part comes in about Barry and Cecile being the ones who went in there double time. They're slower to recovery than the others because they've been in it more times than once. So it's basically kind of theorized that the more you experience it, the longer it take. That's what Cisco also lies in this scene about what he saw. Barry basically have a burst of emotion, saying that he can't stop Sight, and that he's gonna destroy Sister City because he can't stop him. So Cecile basically had to go calm and talk to Barry, tell Barry that you're not the only one who got a second dose of the fear stuff, and that Barry can stop anyone. She reminds him that, hey, you went through crisis, you went through all this stuff. This ain't no different. You know, you're gonna get through it just like you get through everything. But Barry has an epiphany. He realized that this new attack from Sight is making this big old barrier of fear, and it's hitting everybody in the city. But he realized Cecile could do it too, but she would need help because she can't do it on her own because she's not that strong yet. So they used the Thinker's Chair to amplify her abilities to counteract it. They end up Barry got hit with another one again. And then we're with another dose of fear as he was trying to go into it. I had to go fight him, but this time it was like an extended version of the second time. This time the dead people are talking to him, and they're telling him basically, you let us die. Cisco amplifies the communication device so he could talk to him, even though while he's in there, they end up talking Barry to having courage. Barry used that to help Cecile break into the barrier and defeat Sight, which they do. Cecile does her own bubble of energy that breaks all of the citizens who's been put in an induced nightmare by Sight back to normal. It was actually allowed, not just normal, but they actually wake up, and it destroys Sight himself. And Barry has like a psychic attack from this person that came from the Speed Force, and Barry had to go to that cryo chamber thing. He used it so that he wouldn't be affected. And the little cliffhanger is that we find out that the person who was in the coma wakes up and tells them that Sight and Führer attacked them, and that it might be just like them. So that's it. I left some things vague, I left some things out, so you go check the episode out yourself. But if I had to give this episode anything, I give it 9 big ups, because this was a good episode. It was a very good episode. I recommend you go check it out. It was a very good episode. It's only so many episodes of different shows that I watch again. That was an episode I might watch again just because it was that good. But yeah, that's all I got. Do me a favor and hit this button right here for all of my reviews and slash TV shows and movie reviews. Hit this button right here to subscribe to my channel. Acknowledge me and subscribe to this channel. Or hit any one of these amazing videos. For more amazing content, Chief out. Stay safe. See you in the next one.